Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl back again for another movie spoiler review. If you haven't got a chance, definitely check out my uh from December 1st in general, my Christmas movie reviews that I have up on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkative Carl. Links are in the description. And enjoy those. I just got those all wrapped up for you guys. Next year we'll begin again with another group of those for you guys. And I want to let you know, thank you all for the recent new subscribers. You guys have been amazing. The viewer count has been like nuts. Everybody involved has, been enjoying my content so far. You've just been phenomenal. I just want to take the time to just say thank you so much. And I hope you had a great Christmas, happy holidays, great happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, all that stuff. And I hope you have a happy new year. Now we'll be back. Now we're back into our regularly scheduled movie review program. Just a little tangent here. Some point next month, which will be in a week, I will be back into getting the TV show reviews, starting back with season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Stay tuned for that. I also want, probably maybe next week, I will be doing a new discussion video centered around what are my top 5, I believe I want to go with top 5 favorite episodes / duels in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters era. So I gotta, work up a list, but look forward to that. And I just want to show off in case you're curious, I just want to show off my new bathrobe I got for Christmas. It's if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know what it is, but it's my Hufflepuff Harry Potter bathrobe. I've been wanting like a new bathrobe for a while, and I saw this on Amazon, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely getting this because, I just want something, nice. Like, this is like really nice. I'm a total Hufflepuff. Like, I am a House Hufflepuff, which totally fits my mindset. I hope you all see the embroidery. It's pretty swanky, and everything just feels so nice. So, every once in a while you might just see me in this, just lounging around in this, and it's just like, this felt good. I could, if I want to, just put my head up, and it's like get to see the point. It's, got even a total like wizardly thing on. So like I'm enjoying this. So anyway, back to the review. Now, Disney Encanto. Now, it was in the theaters for the Thanksgiving weekend. I did not go see it in the theater. I decided I could just go ahead, and it's not as much as I was interested in this movie. I wasn't like eager to go to the theater to go see it. It wasn't like Eternals. Well, I could have probably waited for the Eternals, but I'm glad I didn't. I just went to the theater to go see it. And it wasn't definitely not like Spider-Man No Way Home, the most anticipated movie of all time. Plus, it just recently hit like $1 billion at the box office, globally, beating out Avengers Infinity War. So it's number 2 of the best movie, like the biggest box office record-breaking movies of all time, just right behind Avengers Endgame. So everybody involved in that film deserves every penny of it. That is my take on it. But Disney Encanto, I watched yesterday evening, and if it wasn't for like I was going on my Twitter feed and I see people posting pictures of the main character Maribel played by crap, what's her name? She's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Stephanie Beatrice. I want to say Zazie Beats for a second. I don't know why. Who plays Detective Rosa Diaz, my my definitely my Brooklyn Nine-Nine crush. But yeah, I seen pictures of Maribel being posted all over the place. A lot of girls with glasses said like, "Oh, this is totally me," especially Hispanic girls with glasses. And I gotta admit, like, I was definitely charmed by that girl after watching this movie. And it's, I want to say it was like a deal breaker or anything like that, but normally I never found people with like thick eyebrows like attractive at all. But it's like this girl somehow makes it work, even though she's an anime character. She make the kind of thick eyebrows work for her. Maybe it's just like in the combination with the glasses and the attitude. The kind of maybe it's the attitude to make it work. Where it's like I don't know. I'm just put off by people with super thick eyebrows. It's not like super thick like like a werewolf or anything like that. But it's just it's just a lot of hair on eyebrows on most people. But for Maribel, she is so cute with them. I don't know. It is making it cute. I was like, I love that character. She is awesome. But anyway, the movie begins where, of course, let me go over like the people involved in this just to give them their just dues. This is directed by Jared Bush, who also did Zootopia and Moana, which is another movie I want to review because I want to watch that movie again because that movie is phenomenal. Starring Stephanie Beatrice as Maribel, Maribel Madrigal, Maria Cecilia Botiro as Maribel's grandmother. John Leguizamo as Bruno. Mario Castillo as Felix. Angie Sapita as Yulita Meridral. I don't know why I'm struggling with that last name. I heard it like a bunch of times throughout the movie. Carolina Kitan as Pipa. Angie Sapita as I just said it. Yulita. Diane Guerrero as Isabella. Wilmore Valderrama as Augustin Adessa as Dolores. So where is it? Oh yeah, there you go. Jessica Darrow as Luisa Madrigal. Madrigal. So yeah, I want to make sure they get all their little flowers, and it also helped the writing. Not only was assisted by Jared Bush, but also Lin-Manuel Miranda and Nancy Cruz, as well as Byron Howard, Jason Han, and Charisse Castro Smith. So the movie begins where, like a lot of Disney movies, like Up and Finding Nemo, is a little dour. A young the matriarch, the abuela, as a young woman who recently had triplets with her husband. What was his dog name? It starts with an A, but that doesn't help, does it? Pedro. We talking about A. Her husband Pedro, who was escaping their their home, because either it's gonna be, there wasn't specific, that's the thing. I kind of wish it was a little bit more specific, but I guess if you can, we kind of use your assumption, whether it's just either raiders, just common raiders, or just racist people like attacking a Colombian village. But either way, a handful of people had escaped along with Abuela, her triplets, along with her husband. But as three of the raiders on horseback was coming after them, Pedro stayed as he gave his wife and children a chance to escape. And as she was holding his candle, and as she had to horrifically look on as her husband was cut down, her tears kind of create, which is never specific in how they even was a thing, but her tears somehow magically made this candle, which kind of will create this magical house called Castilia. Casita. My apologies. And then also this, just this kind of like this bountiful forest, and just like this sanctuary in a way. And what this part reminded me of, as soon as I saw how it was like, building and being magically created, it reminded me of The Mummy 2 with Brendan Fraser, where the Scorpion King, made a deal with the, which kind of explained better than Encanto did, is where it's like he made a pact with Set, the guardian of the underworld, to create this oasis essentially, and give him some power in order to conquer his enemies, to give him his soul in exchange. That's what it reminded me of. This this kind of eruption of forest and water and all this life, and then this magical house for Bella and her kids to live in. I just really wish that was clear how this candle that she was holding became a magical candle. It just happened because of her tears. But anyway, the house, also were able to grant, magical powers through these essentially like magic doorways inside, that's created inside the house, where it essentially makes superheroes in a way, like X-Men level stuff. And the triplets, Pepe controls the weather. Yulita, can heal people through her food, and Bruno has precognition. And there was this whole song which people was memeing a lot, and which I never understood. I thought that was making fun of what's that movie with the Italian sea creatures? Crap, I'm blanking on. These two boys are sea creatures, but they go on land and look like real boys. And the slightly older one is named Bruno. I thought that was, making fun of him, but it's like, no one talk about Bruno, no. Which is, the songs in here are like a phenomenal, except for one serious downer one. I forget which one it was, but I think it was like the one where before Mirabelle finds the cracks in the house. So, but beyond that, I love the songs in here. It's not up to the level of like Frozen or even Moana, in my opinion, but I think it should be like if I can rank them, like in the top 3. Well, I don't even know if it's even in the top 3, because it's like, it's still a Disney property film. So there's a lot of Disney songs out there, and I don't know, as much as I love this, I don't know how, or I don't know if it cracks even the top 10 technically, because there's like so many classic songs. Even Moana managed to eke its way up there for me as far as like top 10 great songs from Disney animated films. But Lion King is obviously probably number one. But then you got like Mulan probably in like top 5, 6 as far as like songs. But it's like and Frozen is probably number 2, but just just inches away from being number 1 with that Let It Go. Just like, I don't know, probably slightly below Lion King, just slightly, because Lion King has like a plethora, while Frozen just has that one memorable song, even though the other songs are great. But people can honestly, if you think of Frozen, the only song they can just write off right away is Let It Go, mostly because their kids kept playing that dang song. But for at least a week, I got that song stuck in my head after I saw Frozen for the first time earlier this year. So yeah, but I love at least Mirabelle's like first song, the Encanto song. That one is pretty dope. I love that song. But anyway, Mirabelle, out of the, was like one out of the family that doesn't have the gift. Because when children reach to a certain age, like, at least not toddler, but like, at least 9 or 10, they go to their doorway, at least a magical doorway, and they touch the doorknob, then you randomly get like an X gene, like whatever it is that kind of makes you special in a way. Like one of the little toddlers that Maribel befriends, which is usually anybody from the lineage that gets these gifts. They are allowed to get these gifts. Anybody else, like Maribel's father, didn't come from the family. He married into the family, and those people, they live in the village that was built up over the years, along with the Madrigals. They don't get the power, but they are part of the community, and like they are just extended family in a sense. And I don't even qualify as like extended family, but they're just part of the family or community. And other than them, if you're directly from the bloodline, you are automatically expected to get a gift, depending on what your kind of like trait is, or like something that makes you unique. Like the little boy has a thing for animals, so when he gets this gift, he pretty much get Dr. Dolittle powers and can be able to speak to all animals and automatically befriend them, I guess. Because that's another thing. As cute as it is seeing him ride a jaguar, I think it was a jaguar. Either a jaguar or a tiger. I think it was a jaguar. And as cute as that is, it does, being able to talk with them correlates with being able to like befriend them. Because even with Dr. Dolittle, the one with Eddie Murphy, just to use that for example, that's part of the good one. The first movie where he had to help this tiger because he has some kind of like brain thing, tumor or something like that in his skull. The tiger still acted like a freaking tiger when he saw like little animals that he still want to eat. He's a freaking tiger. He's gonna do what a tiger does, even though he can communicate with him and be able to like, like calm him down in a sense. But in Puss Goes to Shove, the tiger's gonna act like it. The tiger once threatened, Dr. Dolittle, saying like, if it doesn't work, I will eat you. So I know it's a kids film, but so was Dr. Dolittle in a way. But I know this is like a kids film, Encanto, but it's just like, that's just weird. I just like, okay, I guess it's like maybe he has added power. He can be able to calm and befriend animals so they won't just go rabid. But Maribel, which I love Maribel because it's like, very like turns on his head, where it's kind of like the we got the sequel already to the original film, because you would think, since it's like a new movie, a new property, which I highly believe it's going to be easily like a TV show on Disney Plus at some point, because how it would be like Lilo and Stitch. It's like on that level where it's like you can expect some hijinks for like a season or two with these kind of characters, and I'll be all for it. I would love to watch more adventures with this family, but it's like you see a flashback of Maribel as a little girl, and I'm thinking like that's probably our original story that we probably would have expected to see, where it's like, she, gets bummed out because she didn't get the gift, but then she goes on some kind of, hero's journey to the way she accepts the fact that I don't have a gift, and like I'm cool with that. And then now we get this where she, there's another adventure where she's already happy with the fact that she doesn't have powers, and then she just content with just helping out the family in her way kind of situation. That's what I feel, how we're in the middle of after the adventure began. But she's just like just singing, just having a community, you get introduced through song, the family, but you can still see that she kind of feel left out, and it kind of like she's the only one, or at least the first one in the family that didn't get a gift. I think, yeah, this is the first one in the family that didn't get a gift, when her rite of passage came along. So she, is kind of, well, not treated like an outsider because she's still beloved, but it's like her abuela, just like in subtle ways looks down upon her, or like just he loves her, but like puts her to the side while she focuses on the ones with the gift that kind of any kind of acknowledgement, like because they can actually assist the family in her mind's eye. But then as the little boy got his gift and everybody's celebrating, Maribel sees or notices certain cracks being to appear, but somehow they disappear for again. And of course the family doesn't believe her, but I'm thinking, if you could communicate with the house and the house communicates right back to you, you can ask the house, like, did the cracks appear, Casita? Did the cracks appear around there? Tell them the cracks appeared. Tell them so I won't seem crazy or jealous, because they thinking she's trying to ruin, like or at least she was starting to assume that they're gonna be assuming that she's trying to ruin the boys celebration, and that wasn't her intent, which I'm kind of glad she kind of circumvent that thought process, because normally abuela or the parents will be outright just saying it, like, you're trying to ruin his big day kind of situation. But no, they kind of undercut it, which I like, whereas like Maribel just straight up, I'm just gonna let you know right now, I'm not trying to ruin this boy. I love this boy. I'm not trying to ruin his big day. I saw some freaking cracks and the candle almost went out, but her warnings are not heeded, so they continue on. But then upon spying on abuela, she started to begin to suspect there is something being she's hiding something. So she goes to her older cousin, who has a super ability to hear everything, and she tells her to go see her older sister, who has super strength. And normally she doesn't get nervous, but it's a nice arc between Maribel and her sisters. But her sister, what was it? Not Jolita, that's the mother. Luisa, with the super strength. Normally she doesn't get scared, but the first time she actually even gets nervous, her eyes start twitching, and Maribel's like, which leads to Luisa's awesome song. But she finally gets some information from her, saying that she mentioned about she can find clues in Bruno's, her uncle's, closed off room, because he predicted something will happen to the house and the family. So Maribel goes there, and like a funny scene, I think I saw in the trailers like a year ago, like almost a year ago, where she looked upon, it's like there's like a bunch of stairs going up to some kind of room. In this movie, you find out it's like her uncle's room, and it's like there's a bunch of sand. And I think it was like a nice, because there's a nice little the way a room is created through these magical doors, depending on the power set. So the little boy, since he can talk to animals, his room is pretty much like something out of the Jungle Book, while Bruno's room is like something like out of Prince of Persia in a way. He's got all this sand everywhere. It's like hinted like Sand of Time kind of situation. Even though he doesn't control time, he can see into the future. But people never want to speak about Bruno because they automatically vilify him, because his premonitions, who tend to come true, usually doesn't work out well for people, and it's not like his fault. Which is like each character kind of have their own little arc, because depending on their kind of abilities, they're just automatically labeled or put in a particular box, and are not allowed to grow. And the other older sister, Isabella, I believe, is the one who controls plants or flowers specifically. Yeah, because she has this reputation of being like all perfect and everything like that. Her rooms just feel like she's like the poison ivy in a way. This kid's got flowers all strewed about in her room, and she goes to a pretty cool arc. I wouldn't have expected it until we got to that point. But when Maribel goes into the room of Bruno, she sees the shattered jade, plate that, shows the cracking house with Maribel in front of it. And when she came back, and then her father overheard her while she was like investigating, and then the cousin who has super hearing overheard, and she's also got the big mouth, and so she starts like blabbing to cousins and uncles and everybody, just passing around, and like then eventually went down to Aunt Pepe, who is a warrior, and she freaks out so easily, and then because her mood changes the weather, and like now she's like freaking out, and then it's thunderstorming right in the room, right when Abuela is trying to marry off Isabella to this this a handsome hunk, what was his name, Guzman, which I want to put it right there. I'm so glad, because if it was anybody else, they could have easily made Guzman like the pretty boy asshole from Frozen, kind of like a low-key villain. There's no villains in this, which is very rare in a lot of films, not even just Disney animated films, but it's just in films in general. It's so rare and unique when a movie just has like a story to tell, but there's no definitive bad guy. There's no bad guys in this, which I just thought is so creative. And then it's written well on top of that. So kudos to that. And they could easily make this guy just a surprise bad guy, but no, he's not a jerk. He's a slightly of an idiot, but not too much of an idiot. He just is a nice dude, who actually is interested in finding love and all that other stuff. And it's like, that's great. It's just so simple. A lesser writer can just make all this just seem dumb, or at least cliche, I should say. But then, we'll have it next. After she finds Bruno, who's hiding inside the house and didn't run away like people suspected, he informs her that he he still loves his family. He's still staying close, but he's like keeping it arm's length because the way his premonitions, comes to him, he has no control of it. What he sees is what's going to happen, and because, like Pepe's wedding to her husband, who they have like a great wedding celebration. Then because like Bruno predicted, there was going to be like a thunderstorm. It happened, and then they just blame the thunderstorm in general on him. But it's just the way he saw it. And then another person blamed Bruno because he predicted that her fish would die, and it did the next day. And it's like, do they understand how precognition works? It's like, you see something that's going to happen. You don't see something that you make happen. That's not how prognition works. It was just weird to me. But like I said, given the fact that the part of the story is the fact that the labeling, or like you put somebody in a box just because they have a certain gift, you confine them to work within that space without exercising any kind of or at least giving room to grow beyond that. Mirabel convinces Bruno to show her the precognition that he saw before, but this time let it continue so she can see like this might be a way beyond that can easily avoid. And he pushing the premonition a little bit further, and he sees that the only way to possibly fix it was to make up with her older sister, like with a hug, make amends in a way, because they usually kind of snipe at each other or what have you, it's just sibling things, especially around that age. And this is when like the whole character growth comes into play with a lot of these characters, as like with Isabella, because everybody puts her with the label of the pretty and perfect. Everything she does, everything has to do, gotta be perfect in every way, shape, or form. And she's not allowed to just do her own thing, warts and all, mistakes and all. She, and she doesn't want to be perfect all the time. So she doesn't want to always make perfect flowers. She makes this cactus. And cactus are not known to be pretty. But she's just like happy the fact that she can just make something that she wants to make, and it doesn't have to be perfect or pretty. I love the way that they mess around with like these colors, and like her pretty little dress is now very tie-dye-ish and just random, and she's just embracing all that, and then she with that, because she like confesses it, with that outward confession, to be able to like finally just say what she feels for the first time without holding it in. It was liberating for her, and because of the Mirabel's helping getting that off her chest, they embrace, thinking that's going to solve all the problem, but it was more to it than that. Kind of wish, because that's another thing about this, I kind of wish that there was more, if there was more steps to it, like you will see in the next thing with Abuela. I kind of wish there was more to that premonition to like highlight that, because you think is she would think is all well and good, because the only thing the premonition shows is that you gotta make up with your sister and that'll be that. But no, you should be able to also include Abuela into that mix in the premonition, in my opinion, so it can be clear that, I mean, I know it's kind of like undercuts like the way the story is written. I think a lot of people like the way it's handled, but it's just that I don't know, it's just I expected, it's not a trick or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, it's hard for me to put into words. It's just, I think it still works if you like, okay, you have two jobs to do. One, you don't need to keep it a secret. Just one, you make up with your sister, and two, you also have to make up with Abuela, and have that be the confusing part, because you think like Abuela should be, her and Mirabel should be fine, but no, they're not fine. You have some both of you have some issues with each other that you're not addressing, and that's the thing. It's about addressing your problem instead of coding it in. That's probably like some deep psychological things, more psychological trauma, if anything. If this movie's about anything, psychological kind of, not trauma, but it's like holding yourself back and not allowing yourself to grow. So like, Louisa, confesses the fact that, everybody expects her to always be the strong one. And sometimes she wants to, and she just says, so sometimes I just want to cry too. Sometimes I don't feel strong. Sometimes I want to be held. I want to feel sad. I don't want to feel old. I don't want to say I don't want to feel okay, but I just, what I mean. It's like I sometimes I feel weak emotionally and I need to be supported too. And sometimes, and you see at the end where she's just finally just not lifting stuff all the time. She just relaxing on a lounge chair and drinking like a coconut drink, which is fine. It's like, that's also a thing. Sometimes she just want to relax. She doesn't want to do bulk of the heavy lifting every day. Sometimes she want to relax. Sometimes she want be held. Sometimes she just want to be allowed to feel sad sometimes without being the pillar. You need to get, she wants that weight off her shoulders. And then with Isabella, she wants to be able to make mistakes and be dirty and not perfect all the time. Bruno, doesn't want to be vilified for just doing what he, what is just, God given to him, and not to be punished for it. And because he still loves his family. I'm glad that he didn't just, you can easily have made him a villain too, but and resentful for the family for like pushing that narrative on him, because he is doing what he's just doing to help the family by warning them of stuff. But I'm glad they didn't go that route. But he got that villain label put on him where he's not. He still loves his family. He's still watching from afar in a way. And but then after Abuela sees the whole situation with Isabella and the clothes and it's all dirty and all this, and then she, lashes out at Maribel, and Maribel finally just, fires right back at her, telling her it's all her fault for essentially focusing too much on the family's gifts and not the family. Because after a while, that's picking her focus. As she gotten older, she got into, as she mentions later on when they make up, because of what she lost, because he lost Pedro all those years ago, and then the gift she was given, she was, I want to say obsessed, but, really hyper focused on making sure her family is taken care of, is looked after, and the family take care of his own, just prevent another atrocity from ever happening again. Because now we can protect ourselves, and we're literally like a family of X-Men, and now we can actually literally protect ourselves so this kind of thing won't happen. But that was, after a while, she got too used to that focus, and she forgot the original meaning behind the magic that was given. Y'all were stronger together. You lost something, you were stronger, you only had your family, and so I gave you something so that way your family can feel safe so it can grow again. And so she makes up with Maribel, and they make up with each other, and they head back into town. And because the collapse of the house, the magic was lost, but it regained itself once the family and the community pulled together and rebuild the house from the ground up together within a quick short time. And once everything's put together and Maribel puts that last doorknob onto the door, the magic comes back because the family unit is whole again, and the magic returns. And the movie ends with it is spectacular. But I also want to iterate, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. I was worried, but I'm so glad they didn't go the route by giving Maribel a magic power at the end of this, because that would kind of undercut everything. And it's like, I like the idea that Maribel doesn't have or doesn't get a power. She's still content with just being like a mogul in a sea of magic wielders, or the monster among the monsters. Just just the, not an outcast, but the in a sense of the unique one out of the unique ones. And I like that. I was so glad they just didn't, just give her a power at the end. And it's kind of felt like cool, but because if she all of a sudden started flying, and it's like, oh my God, no, you kind of undercutted your entire arc for this girl. But, like I said, I would love for a TV show on Disney Plus to make a TV show from Encanto. I'm pretty sure it might be in the works. I don't see any kind of hint at that, but it'd be great to have one where you just see, like, because you don't go outside of the, like, vicinity of the village. You're primarily confined to the house, inside the house, and its different doorways, and then the forest area itself. But I can definitely see like a just like a TV show of this, like at least it can get like a few seasons, because this movie is great, and I want more adventures with these characters. I want to see, like, just the Lilo and Stitch it up. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I mean, because of the pandemic, it wouldn't have done. It done great, but not as big as you would have typically expect from a Disney animated princess type of movie, because she may not be a traditional princess, but let's just call it what it is. She's a Disney princess, and I'm pretty sure this would have gotten at least Moana numbers, if because it didn't stick around in the theaters for too long, and not many people went out their way to the theaters to go see it, but it did fair bit because it was a Thanksgiving weekend. But I honestly think this would have done like at least Moana numbers if the pandemic kind of undercutted it. But now not so much, thanks to like something like Spider-Man. They kind of like really threw a monkey wrench to the whole pandemic. It's like after the pandemic, everybody and their mama went out to see Spider-Man No Way Home at least 2 or 3 times at the most, which stands the reason why it's at 1 billion at this point globally. But yeah, I think this is a solid film. I think, like, I don't know, definitely give it like if I give it a letter grade, I'll say like B+, A-. I think I'll go with A-. Despite the certain spots that I pointed out that I didn't understand or agree with, it's a solid film. The music is very tight and nice. A nice job for everybody involved. The writing is spectacular, and I imagine it's got to get at least one sequel. Because if Frozen, like, well, I expect a sequel from Moana by this point, or at least maybe it's in the works. But Moana and Encanto definitely deserves sequels, if not TV shows, to see like more adventures with these kind of people. Because everybody's amazing. Hey Daniel, I'm about to wrap up soon to start my Matrix 4 review. So you can pop back in like a few minutes. But yeah, that's my review for Encanto. Definitely give us a watch. If you have Disney Plus, definitely give us a watch, or buy the Blu-ray copy of this. And it's not only great for the kids, but it's great for you to watch with the kids. It's, like I said, great writing. Great art, and because not since Coco I've seen such colorful art in this, and I love it. So yeah, definitely worth a watch. I won't be able to be very objective with film, Colombian. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. That's another thing I almost forgot about mentioning this. It circumvents the whole stereotype of Colombian culture. It's like, because I looked this up earlier today. Normally people, when they think of Colombian culture, the show Narcos doesn't help. I mean, Sofia Vergara from like Modern Family, I wouldn't say make it a joke, but people kind of like, apply her character as being some kind of like representation, like a jokey representation of the Colombian culture, and that's obviously not true because Sofia Vergara is very proud of her culture, but yeah, normally you associate with like drug trafficking and like just jungle, dangerous forest and everything like that. This you know perfectly represents Colombian culture in its purest form, and none that stereotypes, and everybody is all about family. Which no matter what race you are, you can totally get the whole family unit thing. I don't think it's just particular in like for like Colombian people. It's like anybody who has been in situations with family, like just like you feel like an outsider in your family, you can perfectly understand Maribel where she's coming from. And that's why I love that character. I love Maribel. She is an awesome character. No wonder girls go crazy for her. She's a freaking Disney princess. I don't care what anybody says. She was right up there with Elsa and Moana for me as far as like awesome new age Disney princesses. She is fantastic. I want a TV show of this so badly. I just want to be immersed in this and Moana. I just want to be immersed in these worlds there because they're fantastic. I love it. But yeah, like great representation, and it's like if you're from Colombia, you like when they talk about like certain foods and stuff like that, it's like I'm pretty sure just like it just clicks with you. And it's like and like just the language and like the dancing. I just love that whole the dance sequence from like especially from Maribel when she lifts up her dress and just like does this thing. It's like I love it because they actually did proper research and they did their homework in this. You can tell from just the writing and like the direction, everybody involved did their homework. So it's like it's spot on. That's why I give it like at least an A minus, because the minus part is because like a few things that I pointed out that like I didn't necessarily agree with, but yeah, because like at the very least, what I wish they would have clarified more is how that magic even started in the first place. Because she saw some tragedy happen to her husband, she cried, and then the candle she was holding became magical, and it's like there's a space missing there between crying, blank, magic candle. I mean, like I pointed out, like it's like a perfect. It reminds me of The Mummy 2, where like the Scorpion King made a deal. He wasn't winning his wars. He made a deal with the god of the underworld. Bites the head off a scorpion, and then you get an oasis. And then he's taking control over Anubis's. I said Set earlier, but I meant Anubis's. Warriors. So you get how that oasis sprung up. You don't get that with this with Encanto. It's just like the magic just appears on a candle, and it's like I really wish that kind of like explain where its origins started. It did like Abuela has some kind of magical gift that sprung. Maybe her tears somehow are just magic and gave, and just kind of I don't know, focus onto this candle or something. I don't know. But I just really wish that part was explained. But anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you guys in at least 5-6 minutes where I'll be reviewing Matrix 4. Give you my thoughts. I had to watch that a second time because the first time I tried to watch it last week, it was kind of late and I don't feel like I was confident in being able to retain what I was watching. So I had to watch it a second time so that way I can actually proper talk about it. But yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit for Matrix 4. Take care.